next film we want to look at is The Imitation Game. This is a terrific film about a fella called Alan Turing, who was an astonishing genius in England during the Second World War and was able to crack the code of the secret messages for the Germans called Enigma. An interesting character in many ways because he was also gay, and of course in the time of the war this was a serious problem. Let's have a look at The Imitation Game.
I'm just a mathematician.
Sometimes it is the people who no one imagines anything of who do the things that no one can imagine.
Fabulous performances from Benedict Cumberbatch and Keira Knightley, both up for Oscars for this beautiful film. There are in fact two English films that are up for the Best Picture Awards here at the 87th Academy Awards, but this one I think is exceptional. There's been other films about this wonderful guy, Alan Turing, who of course invented computers amongst everything else. He was quite a genius, and such a shame that he was disgraced as he was in the early 50s. Having said that, I think the film represents the story very, very well, and a very worthy contender, although unlikely to win the Best Picture. Denis, what did you think of The Imitation Game?
John, I was very impressed. It's one of those stories from the World War II that I knew nothing about. I had no idea that this guy existed. I had no idea that he was virtually demonised simply because of that unforgivable sin he happened to be gay. It's a story that took a long time to be told, but it was worth waiting for. It's a great film, it's a brilliant film, it's an inspiring film, it's a film about prejudice and homophobia. It's a film not to be missed. I loved it.
And very worthy contenders are Benedict Cumberbatch and Keira Knightley for their Oscar nominations for Best Actor and Best Actress. But another certainly great film that has caused a lot of controversy is Selma, the story of Dr. Martin Luther King. Let's have a look at the clip now.
We must make a massive demonstration. White, black, and otherwise. Come to Selma.
I heard about the attack of innocent people. I couldn't just stand by.
Looks like an army out there.
This revolution goes on and on. This revolution goes on and on. Mine eyes have seen the glory, glory, glory. Hallelujah.
What happens when a man stands up, says enough is enough?
A lot of controversy about this film because it only attracted the Best Picture Oscar nomination. No other Oscar nominations for Selma, and unlike the Golden Globes, of course, where it did extremely well. So, Denis, this is an interesting one, quite controversial.
It is. The Academy has been accused by some people of racism because it hasn't been nominated for as many awards as perhaps it should have been. It's also been accused, interestingly, John, of not being historically correct, which is a bit of a dicey one because it's not a documentary, it's a film. Wilkinson's character, who plays President Johnson, in the film apparently President Johnson says that he's not in favour of integration, which apparently is not right. Johnson, who was a Texan, a Southerner, said that he made the statement that integrating the South would cost the Democratic Party the South for a couple of 3 or 4 decades. He did say that, but he never said that he wasn't in favour of integration. I don't think that really matters because it's not a documentary. I believe it's absolutely brilliant, very inspiring, and when you look at recent events in America, John, you look at Ferguson and you sort of wonder, here we are 50 years down the track in America, have we learnt much racially speaking? Just put it out there. It's a magnificent film, a very strong film, and this guy Wilkinson who plays Johnson, what a magnificent character actor he is.
Isn't that fascinating that in fact the 3 very prominent actors in this film are English? Of course, except for Oprah Winfrey, you won't fail to recognise her in the film. She does such a fabulous job. And of course, this is the first Afro-American female director. Again, not nominated in the Oscars, but certainly nominated in the Golden Globes. A great movie, but not likely to win Best Picture, having said all of that.
Isn't it very funny? You make a very interesting point. You've got a Wilkinson, a Englishman, playing the American ex-President Johnson.
Yeah.
And he played, well, it doesn't matter what character he does. He's probably one of the world's great character actors.
Yes, he's a fine actor. Fine actor indeed. Let's now have a look at The Theory of Everything. This is the second English film about yet another genius, certainly of our times, and we're talking, of course, about Professor Hawking. And this is up for a lot of awards, including Best Actor and Best Actress. Let's have a look at The Theory of Everything.
Brilliant, Stephen. Well done, Doctor.
He has pneumonia. The only way he will survive will be to give him a tracheotomy. He will never speak again.
Yes, he will.
My name is Stephen Hawking.
It's American.
Is that a problem?
It has been a great joy to watch this man defy every expectation, both scientific and personal.
There should be no boundary to human endeavor. However bad life may seem, while there is life, there is hope.
Thank you.
Sorry, did you say something?
I said thank you.
An extraordinary performance from Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones. These two, of course, are up for Academy Awards for this great film. Just a wonderful story. What did you think of it, Dennis?
Amazing, sort of incredible. When you think about motor neurone disease, this dreadful complaint, the average lifespan is about 2 to 4 years. Professor Hawkins is still here 50 years later, and he's a genius, but it's not about his theories, most of which, of course, we wouldn't understand. We're big intellectual pygmies that we are. The story is more about how his wife copes with his illness and the genius that he is. It's a remarkable story, remarkable film, another inspiring, marvellous film that's not to be missed. Loved it.
Some of the critics have said this is a little bit dry, but I've got to say, Dennis, that I actually like sometimes the dryness and lack of glitz that they use in the American films. The English films, to me, quite often have an enduring quality and authenticity because of that. And that's what I found with this film. I quite enjoyed it for that reason. And just wonderful performances by these two artists.